Hey guys, Scar here, and this is another episode of a Potato for Your Thoughts podcast. I'm here with Mr. Elbow, and we thought it'd be fun to dress up, which, as you can see, we have done. And so today we're going to be talking about things that you're not supposed to talk about on the internet.
Oh, no.
And I think this is going to get pretty interesting because Elbow and I have very, very, very different views on a lot of topics. But we're still friends, and I think that people can learn from that, right? 'Cause
Learning.
just because we don't agree doesn't mean we can't be friends. And I feel like that a lot of people don't think that. So I don't know. We're just going to talk
Knowledge
about
is
some
power.
stuff. So, Elbow, let's start like I start all my other ones. And tell me how we met. Tell the viewers how we met.
Basically, this kid was like, "Hey, let's do a YouTube," and I was like, "Okay, let's do YouTube," and then we did YouTube together.
That's not how it went, Elbow.
Ha! Elbow.
We met on Exotic.
We met on Exotic SMP.
Yeah, and
Use
I
your
didn't
Twitch
like you
subscribe.
at all
What?
because we joined. What was Doc's little group? The Silver Storms, right?
Silver Storms.
Yeah,
And
and I remember I didn't like you,
I didn't like you either. You built a really ugly house,
and
I wasn't allowed to talk about it.
and like I don't know, I felt like you were kind of snobby, and you were like, "Oh, I'm so much better at building than everyone else." Like, oh,
Because I am. Just kidding. I love everyone on Exotic except for Doc. Hit me up. Yeah.
And
yeah.
so that's how we met. And then, when did we really start talking, and not hating each other?
Halfway through the most recent season. I don't know if it's season 3 or season 4.
But like, what did we do? Was there some event that we were both at, or like,
The Ender Dragon fight.
was that the first
I
one?
think
Really?
so. I think so. No, because you and I started playing the
Yeah,
other
we done
games.
stuff before then.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know exactly when, but Scar and I have been friends for almost 6 months now, or 8 months. Or
Something like that.
We've been
Although
friends
I
for
remember
like
I
a
watched your
minute,
first
not-
I watched a stream with you and Doc playing Overwatch, and I was like, this dude is ugh.
awful at
I was like,
games.
why ugh? I was like, why am I watching this? He's like, he said he needs views to help him, so I mean, he's in the SMP. I guess I'll help him by watching, but ugh.
Ugh.
But
Whenever I play certain games, I tend to turn on different personalities. I haven't done it quite as much recently, but in the past, definitely, I have different personalities whenever I do certain things. You know.
mhm. All
I
right,
feel
so
really
that's
weird
kind of
'cause
how
I
we met.
can't-
We met through Exotic. We're pretty good friends now, except
Yeah.
when we're not. Then you know,
Yeah, and then we fight.
Yeah.
And then
like,
we get back together because we're friends. That's what friends do. But
Yeah.
notice, we both have purple shirts on.
Yes,
but
we both
mine's
have purple
kinda
shirts.
oversaturated.
fancy ties. You can see mine a heck of a lot better than you can see Elbows, but that's okay. You're just like sodded.
Wait, if I sit like this, it's okay then.
Yeah, then you're a little
I
quiet
look
though.
like Dr. Disrespect.
All right, so Elbow, the
Yes.
first topic I have written down that we're going to talk about is religion.
Yes, me as well.
We're just going to get right on into it. So, for those of you that don't know, if you really cared, you could find out because I have it in like my bios and stuff, but I'm a Christian.
Oh no,
And what?
Christian, the worst flavor.
And so I feel like most people know the generic Christian beliefs. Like, we believe that Jesus died on the cross for our sins and then rose again 3 days later. And that
Yeah.
Jesus is the living Son of God. And he is God in man form. So he is 100% God and 100% man. And
Mhm.
those are like the main points, really, that to categorize yourself as a Christian. There's other things like here and there, like some denominations do something this way, other denominations do something this way. Like there's different ways to do the Lord's Supper, which is where it's just a time of reflection, where you reflect on how Jesus died on the cross for our sins, where you take the bread and the grape juice or wine or whatever it is, But
Yeah.
the main points are what I said earlier. So Elba, what do you view? How do you view it?
I don't think religion is. I believe in something, but hold on. Let me just take a sidebar conversation here real quick. Cage, yes. So I'm streaming this, by the way, Scar's audience. Sorry for me talking to my chat occasionally, but yes. So this is the whole concept of this stream is purely controversial topics. So things regarding like religion, politics, which we don't know a whole lot about. We're just talking about the wider spectrum, I guess.
Yeah, like we're not experts. We don't pretend to be experts or to be super knowledgeable about these topics. We're just kind of giving like our point of view, and we're not saying like me saying I'm a Christian. I'm not saying that you should go out and become a Christian. Like if you want to, sure, that's great. If you don't, sure, that's great.
Be like that.
But like we're just talking about our opinions and how.
Exactly.
I guess the point for me of doing this whole thing is, one, because it's fun to talk about these things, and two, Elbow, like I said earlier, but Elbow and I have super different points of view, and we're still friends, despite it, and we don't
Yeah.
let that affect our friendship,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
a lot of people seem to do. But
Yeah. So regarding the topic of religion, generally, like I'm not completely against it or for it. Like I just don't really find religion to be super, like, just like a realistic concept. I think that I think that there's something possibly out there that could be like all powerful and kind of might have existed at some point, like an afterlife, I believe in. But like as far as the whole religion concept, I don't really find it to be. It just seems kind of strange, and I think it was a power play used by medieval society in order to get a leg up on its people. But that's just my own opinion. No controversial.
So you would kind of identify as an agnostic almost.
Yes, I'm agnostic.
So not an atheist, but you think
No.
like you notice there's something out there,
Exactly.
but
Yeah,
you don't really know what it is.
I need more proof.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, generally I yeah, exactly. But that you pretty much summed it up right there.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of in an interesting position, and I feel like there's something that's benefited me to begin my to get to my stance where I'm at now. So when I was younger, my grandma's very religious. She's super Christian and all this kind of stuff and all that. And I watched VeggieTales growing up. So
Dude,
I'm
VeggieTales that is the best ever,
I'm
honestly.
basically Catholic.
VeggieTales is not Catholic.
What's up, Dragon Terror? What's up, Sammy420? Sorry. But yeah, so my parents are differing religions within Christianity as a whole.
Different
My mother
denominations.
is the denominator and then the numerator. But my mother is Pentecostal, my dad's Baptist. So they didn't want to take us to a Pentecostal church or a Baptist church because then that's putting one over the other, and they didn't want to do that. So instead, we just didn't go to church. So that's why my life has kind of revolved to the point that it's at.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've talked to a few professors here and there about like what their beliefs are and things like that. And one of them said, like, I was talking to my chemistry teacher, and he's a Christian, and he was saying, he's like, yeah, I was like, I understand like all these different points of view and stuff, and I understand. He's like, there's one thing though that still confuses me, is that how old the Earth is, because there's some things that say that the Earth is like however billions of years old, and there's the other view, which I think is probably the mainstream Christian view, is that God created the world in 7 days, and the world's only like 6,000 to 8,000 years old or something like that.
Wow.
And that's something that I'm struggling with as well, and I still hold to the point of view that it is 6,000 to 8,000 years old, which is not a very common belief nowadays. But anyway, I was talking about that, but then I was talking to my biology teacher about it because I read something in one of the books that she had assigned, and I was like, doesn't seem this doesn't seem factual. I don't know what it said, but it was saying something was a fact when in reality it was just popular opinion. So I asked her about that, and we started talking. She was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I understand what you're saying about that, and that is a little weird that they worded it that way." Um, and then I asked her about it. She's like, "Well, I think I." It's like she said that she doesn't really believe in God or anything, but she said there's something else there. Like there's something that gives something life. Like you can't
Like an
take just a
like a
bunch of
full.
molecules and cells and then life just happen. Like there's no chemical reaction for life
It's
is kind of what
crazy,
she was
yeah.
saying. So there's something that like gives like a soul. Like how do you can't explain that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a chemical reaction per se, which
Yeah, and I
is
know that like electricity kind of, you could kind of argue that electricity is in a way life, but like that's
mm,
just well,
no.
if you were to simulate muscles and stuff with electricity, it causes them to activate and that kind of stuff. So you kind of have like this. It could be there's a I don't know. It's an interesting concept, and you can't really. There's no way to really conceptualize it, which is why it's brought to that controversial area because it's all just about like what you believe and like what exactly even happened.
Hmm.
There
And
was there
then
was an orgy that happened
yeah.
somewhere.
And then you could that could take you on to an even more I guess serious conversation is if there is if life is not like a chemical reaction type of thing, like where does it begin? Which brings into topic the whole abortion thing. Um, but that's there's so many the points of view are like you either are for it or against it. Like there's not really a whole lot of middle ground there,
Yeah, exactly.
which is I mean that
Um,
makes sense because you either
so
do or you
Scar,
don't. You can't just like do halfway.
yes. I had a request in my chat by a Sammy 420.
Hmm.
Um, he wants us to talk about have you heard of XXX Tentacion?
The rapper.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
What do you what how much do you know about him like in
I just know
guessing not
he
much.
looks a little strange.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah, so
that's all I
so
know.
so his are you okay with talking about this or
Sure, yeah.
I'll explain to you the whole entire situation and then you can kind of give me your rebuttal about it,
Okay.
okay? Okay. So XXX he was a rapper that blew up in roughly 2015 2016
Okay.
because one he had like one pretty good it was a song that blew up. It was awful. Um,
Okay.
and it's called Look at Me. It's all about it's super up. I hate the song. But it was his big spot to get into the scene. Um but then recently, maybe 6 months ago, he died. In He was robbed as he was leaving I think a motorcycle dealership or something like that.
Okay.
But during this time when he had initially blown up all the way back in like 2014 he kind of did some messed up stuff to his girlfriend. He beat her and she was pregnant and all this.
Okay.
I'm not super educated on it as well, so it's be like that. But he made a lot of music that was very good for people who have depression and anxiety, and he kind of used his popularity as a grounds to reach out to people and try to make them feel better. um so he there was this one side where he did this horrible nasty thing to his girlfriend or his I think it was his fiance or something,
Hmm.
who was pregnant with his daughter. And then there's this other side where he was truly trying to better the society and make people feel good about themselves and try to make them happy. So he died, and there was two sides. There was one side who
And
was
when you say he
like,
died, you mean like
he was
his career
assassinated.
his career died.
No, he was actually killed.
Wait,
He
isn't he
died
still
6 months
alive?
ago. No, he got shot
When?
6 months ago, pulling out a motorcycle dealership. He was robbed over a Gucci, um, a Gucci belt or something.
Wait,
Not Gucci belt, a Gucci purse that had a whole lot of money in it.
wait. I'm thinking of someone else. I'm thinking
No,
of the white guy.
oh no, X is a black dude who has the funky thing on his head.
Okay, yeah, I remember that now. Who am I thinking of? Who's the guy I'm thinking of? With all the
Well,
tattoo on his faces?
I don't know what you're
With
talking
all the
about.
tattoos on his face?
Oh, 6ix9ine.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah. Okay, okay.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about X.
Yeah, I remember. Okay, I know who you're talking about now. Okay, continue. I still don't know anything about him. But yeah.
But yeah, basically he was killed. But how do you think? What would you think about like? So whenever it first happened, I was like, this sucks. But like a like he beat his girlfriend who was pregnant with his kid, his daughter, and or his son. I don't really remember. Um, and I'm like, he kind of got what he deserved. But now that I've listened to his music and really kind of thought about it and all that kind of stuff, I'm like, it's horrible because he's never able to make anything to benefit society again. So
Well, so are you saying like, did he since he did this horrible thing to his girlfriend, did he deserve death to get robbed? Is that what you're saying?
not necessarily. I mean, to an extent, like I feel like he deserved some kind of punishment because everybody kind of just swept it underneath the rug whenever it happened.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't know. It's just like, what do you think about like just the fact that like, knowing what I just told you, like, how would you react to like hearing that he died, 5 minutes ago? That's kind of what I'm going for.
Well, he since he did that, like that deserves some sort of punishment, like years in jail, because that's just
Yeah.
that's domestic abuse.
Yeah.
Regardless of your circumstances, that's still not okay. But I don't think anyone deserves to die for their punishments necessarily.
Yeah, for sure.
People do awful things and just horrible things, but and like murder, like people have just killed. Like you can think back to all the different murders and killings in the past, and I don't know what happened to them. I don't know if usually they end up killing themselves, but I think living with that guilt for however many years and years in prison is so much worse of a punishment than just ending it. And if you're thinking just on like this world type of thing, like if you believe in the afterlife, then they would possibly go to hell, which is like eternal punishment. So you
Yeah.
could say that suicide would be worse. But if
Damn.
if you're not taking that into consideration, then if you're I don't know how old these people are, like 30 maybe. We'll say the dude's
X is our age.
okay.
He's
So
maybe 21.
the
22.
guy that killed him. Wait, we're talking about X incident, right? So he should have gotten punishment for the domestic abuse, but he shouldn't have died. Like
Yeah.
he shouldn't have been killed for it or anything. And the guy that killed him shouldn't have gotten the death penalty because, in my opinion, because like I view there's always a second chance. There's always hope. Like for those people that have committed these atrocious crimes, they might not ever get out of jail, but they might fix their life in jail. They might turn over a new leaf. Even though they can
Yeah.
never leave, they could still make the best of it. Type of thing. Like I believe that I guess I'm getting into religion again, but that anyone can be saved regardless of what they've done.
Yeah, they get a chance for retribution.
Right, and
to
they
better
don't get that
themselves.
if they get the death penalty or commit suicide or something like that.
Scar, somebody said we're in the same room.
What?
Yeah,
They think that?
Also,
wait,
they called
wait,
us out
Elbow.
for-
Let's hold hands.
Oh, controversy.
We're so dumb. But no, we're definitely not in the same room. You like the colors are different. He's like, I can.
Scar? Get your hand out of my room!
That's so good. I can't even do it. Elbow!
Oh, no,
Elbow,
it froze.
stop!
Ah! Wait,
What?
extend your fingers. No, it's coming out of the wrong side.
Okay,
of the
wait,
screen.
I gotta do this side, right?
Yeah.
Wait.
Ah!
Oh. We're so dumb. So I mean, it's sad that he died because it's sad that anyone dies.
Yeah.
I would feel remorse for the people that affected.
Like his mom and his sister.
Yeah, sure, or whoever else. But he should have been punished for what he did.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of celebrities kind of get away with some of that stuff. Or the whole
Yeah,
thing
which is
the whole thing
crazy.
about Demi Lovato like overdosing on cocaine.
Meth. Wait.
Whatever. Yeah, I don't know what it was. But
You're probably right. I think you're right.
But and the world was like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" It's like, "I'm so sorry. Like how that's awful. It's
Mhm.
illegal."
Yeah, and it's
Like, and she
messed
didn't get
up.
any repercussions for that. Granted, she almost died, but I feel like she should have still had some repercussions for doing drugs in the first place.
We've got some requests to talk about
Okay, sure, yeah.
heroin use.
What do we got?
We got heroin use. Jam says turn on your chroma key. Shut up, Jizlet. Elbow has reptile eyes. Holy crap, Scar's glasses. The Big Bang.
Okay.
Their hair goes in different directions.
That is true. Our hair does go in different directions. Secretly, there's Elbow and I always like play games together, and there's someone sitting that sits in between us and goes like this to our hair.
And corrects it. But yeah. So we got one for flat Earth. Earth.
Okay.
Heroin
Okay.
and chroma key.
Well, there wasn't flat Earth. It was the Big Bang, right?
Oh yeah, Big Bang.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, there was two actually. One for flat Earth and one for Big Bang.
So, the flat Earth. I mean,
Nobody actually believes that. Let's be honest.
whenever I hear people talk about the flat Earth, I always think about the meme that's like in some flat Earth Facebook group. It says we have members all around the globe, and then the comment says, "Read that again, but slower." That's what I always think about whenever people talk about it. Also, I'm gonna take these off because they keep sliding down my face.
Yeah, and mine are getting really sweaty.
Ew.
Like, there's no space for them, for my eyes.
Mine don't have any lenses, so there's plenty of airflow.
Yeah.
So the flat Earth, I feel like that's just a meme nowadays because we've literally seen the Earth. People have sailed all around it, and if the Earth was flat, then cats would have pushed everything off by now.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
checkmate, honestly.
Checkmate.
Um,
Whenever we agree on a topic, can we dab?
no, I'm not gonna dab.
No.
Is that good enough?
Do it. Do it.
Finger dab.
That works. That works.
Okay, so what was it? Big Bang? There is evidence for the Big Bang. There is evidence for creation.
Mm-hmm.
And well, the Big Bang along with it I assume comes evolution, which is actually one of our topics. So that's kind of cool. But the Big Bang, I don't the thing about me is I don't believe in it because I don't see like where did I think the way the Big Bang is talked about is there was like this ball of hydrogen that the universe kept condensing and condensing and condensing and get hotter and got hotter and hotter and hotter and then just boom. But where did that stuff come from to get hotter? Like where did the atoms come from that created the Big Bang? That's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people say like, well, the Earth is like the universe is infinitely years old. That's not the right way to say it, but it's
exponentially old.
it didn't have a starting point. it just kept going. So the Big Bang happened again and again and again. We just happened to be in this part of the Big Bang just area timeline
Yeah,
where we just happen to be at this specific point in between Big Bangs or something, right? I think it's kind of what they were saying.
essentially,
But
yeah.
that doesn't make any sense because we're in this finite world and everything around us is happening and getting older. So that means there had to be a starting point.
Mm-hmm.
But there had to be a starting point for that starting point to begin with. So there had to be something.
Like a conceptualized.
There had to be
like,
something to create, like the Big Bang, is what I'm
Mhm.
saying. So like, there are some people out there that think God exists and He created the Big Bang. Because, like, we can't, which is,
That's like kind of.
it's kind of far fetched and it's kind of a cop out, I think.
Yeah, like there has to be if you're gonna go one way, you've got to kind of think about like one side or the other.
So like,
And,
there had to be a starting point with the Big Bang, which is why I don't think it's all that. And
Yeah.
the whole thing about the universe expanding and how we could calculate it back to a certain point from where the Big Bang can possibly
initiated.
occurred
Yeah.
is like the universe is expanding, but I don't think that was because of the Big Bang. I just don't think that.
Yeah.
Um, I think
I mean,
that.
that's.
Go ahead.
It-
What do you
I
think about it? Go ahead.
I think the Big Bang is freaking cool, and I think it happened, but I just want to know how. Like that's really my whole stance on it. Like I totally believe that the Big Bang was a thing, and that it's just like I don't know. I just would like to know what exactly occurred to have all of those hydrogen molecules to basically form out of nothing, because we don't know what's before the Big Bang. It's literally just nothing, and then boom, Elbows has 500 followers on Twitch and a dying channel.
Yeah, I mean that's true. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it is interesting. Like I want to know what happened. I don't like I want to know how the creation of the universe occurred. Um, and I feel like the creationists and the people that think the Big Bang occurred kind of have the same overarching viewpoint for how the universe was created. Like the creationists, me included, believe that God created the world and He's been here since forever. When
Mhm.
they believe that there was just a continuation of the Big Bang, like continuous Big Bangs over and over and over again until now, which has gone on for eternity. Which neither one we can conceptualize. Like we can't fathom something being there before nothing. Like if I try and think about it, it's impossible. Like you can't think about there just being something there and it was never created.
Yeah.
So both viewpoints have the same argument per se. It's just
But, I mean,
which one do you believe
how?
more necessarily?
How was God created?
Right. Well, the thing about that is that God is above time and space. He's not conformed to our laws. Like
And why would he
one
identify as a man?
what?
Like such an inferior being if he's just a man. I mean, man is like cool. Like we're but just like the fact that he would lower himself to our standards of humanity and all that kind of stuff, because it's just like it's crazy to even think about, you know.
Like if you try and put yourself in that mindset, like you are God right now. You created everything around it. You created the natural laws. You created gravity. You created everything. You created so like if I build a Lego set or something, I'm not gonna go down and make myself one of those little Lego people and just stand there forever until I move it. Like God came down from heaven, wherever it is. I don't know if it's up there, down there. I don't know where
Yeah, he
heaven is.
pushed a wheelbarrow and just said screw it.
Yeah, like he came down to us. That's the whole thought of who Jesus is his son. Like he came down to earth to be with us. And that's insane to think about. How much of a sacrifice that would be. Like we we grumble whenever we don't have AC for a day or something if the power goes out.
Mhm.
Like, imagine having omnipotence, omnipresence, all knowing, and just coming down and just not having that. But
Yeah.
so anyway, we were
Not having AC would suck.
well, yeah. Honestly, oh yeah, my house that I live in college doesn't have any heat, so we have to
Okay.
use like space heaters.
Blankets. Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I mean,
so that's
not that
pretty
bad.
not fun. But it's
I
actually
like
not too bad. It stays around 60 in my room without the heater on, and then if I turn the heater on, I can get up to about 70, which is fine.
That's livable.
Yeah. Um, I was gonna say something earlier, and I can't remember what it was. Oh yeah. So about the whole like where did God come from, not being able to comprehend that. There's this really good quote I heard the other day, and it was, "A God small enough for our minds to comprehend is not a God big enough to meet our needs."
I saw that on your Instagram.
Did you? Did I post that?
Yeah, you did.
Maybe I did.
See,
Um,
Scar and I are friends. I follow him on Instagram.
Which you should follow me. Shameless plug.
Twitch.tv/Lbb0.
Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. I don't have the Snapchat anything out there to follow me, but I do have one.
I have one too.
I think I posted it on my Discord a long time ago. Join my Discord server.
Exclamation point Discord in the chat. If you're not in the
If
Discord
you
already,
if you
go ahead
if
and
you
join
enjoy these conversations, maybe we'll do more of these conversations where we just talk
Part
about really
2.
controversial stuff. I'm enjoying it. Are you having fun, Elbow?
it. Yeah, this is awesome. Real
Maybe
talk, not
maybe
small
we
talk.
could create a Discord suggestion chat in our Discords where you could suggest things for us to talk about. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's hard to read chat like while I'm doing this too.
Mhm.
But I am reading all your guys' messages. I'm reading everyone, and some of them are really funny. But I just can't. We're talking. We're having a news podcast. We got to be considerate.
Yeah.
Do you want to move on to the next?
Yeah, we
I
can
want to
move
talk
on.
about marriage equality.
What else we got?
We got government corruption. And marriage equality. I really want to talk about. And
You do or
gun
don't?
control. I do.
Okay.
We
So-
talked about evolution.
Yep.
We got climate change and marriage equality, really.
Okay. So we're gonna talk about government corruption.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. No one's perfect, but I feel like some people need to try harder.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm a Republican. Do I agree with everything that Donald Trump has said? No. Do I agree with
I don't
everything
think
he's going
anybody
to
should,
do? No.
But, you know.
Elbow, I know you're a Democrat, right?
Yep.
Would you have agreed with everything that Hillary Clinton has done?
Probably not, but I would have agreed a lot more. You know, putting hundreds of thousands of 800,000 workers out of work for a month and a half because you want $5 billion for a pointless wall that's just going to deteriorate and waste a whole bunch of money. But, you know.
Yeah. So like there's different viewpoints on everything, and it's hard to find a happy medium in a lot of cases. But it's our job as citizens to try and elect people that we think would do well. And a lot of people don't make it there. Like in the Republican Party, for instance, I feel like other candidates would have been better than Donald Trump. But they didn't make it that high because I don't know. I don't think he was I don't necessarily think he was lying. Like I feel like he's done what he said he was going to do in his campaigning.
Yeah, he did that.
So I
just
feel like
don't
he got
necessarily
elected
think that those are the
because
best ideas.
like he's done what he was elected to do. It's just that I feel like other people would have done better.
The means that he went around doing it are just not the most, ethical ways to do it. Like, for example, didn't he do something regarding like Arab immigrants and stuff like that, trying to keep them
Whenever
out or
there was
something?
that whenever it was some school shooting and the guy was a terrorist. So
Yeah.
there for a little while he tried to keep them out, which I
Yeah.
guess it's a precautionary measure for future things, but it was a little drastic. Maybe they just should have had better screening. Or like up to the screening a little bit.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know
could
if you
see
should
that.
necessarily ban them completely. But I
Yeah, I
mean,
don't
I
know.
feel
I
like
don't know a lot about
if you want to
politics.
come into the country, you should have legitimate like a legitimate passport,
Yeah, no, totally.
which is
But
the
the
same
the issue
for
is
us to go anywhere else.
see, I'm kind of a like I kind of don't I kind of don't want the our world is so overpopulated, and I feel like as we continue to mingle and politics go in certain directions and stuff like that, that yes, it's going to eventually be in a world where we are all very, very similar people and we're all happy. But are we all just going to end up in the United States and just depreciate the rest of the world and have to be in this almost utopia like society because everywhere else is a living hellscape? And by forcing everyone out, it kind of slows that down and it might make the earth last a little bit longer and all of us forced to kind of like live around and just be, I don't know, like I wish we could just get along and try to use less of the earth's natural resources. I don't know, that's hard stuff to talk about. I don't know how to really like bring it up,
And
you
that's
know.
the thing. Like there's with politics, a lot of the issues that we're seeing, immigration and how to create more sustainable energy and how to recycle more, get the plastic out of the ocean. I don't know, whatever. Like there's all those things are problems that the republic that sorry not republic that politicians have to deal with,
Yeah,
and there's not an easy answer. Like there's not a do this one thing and it fixes all of our problems, which is hard. It's hard for the people in command to be able to make those hard decisions and figure out what needs to be done. But
yeah, without pissing literally everyone off,
hmm and
because
there are
each
things
side
I
you're
know
gonna piss somebody off.
governments
Sorry.
are corrupt. Yeah, that happens. Like that's not anything new though.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've had
Yeah,
that
like look back to the
since
old world. Like,
the beginning.
yeah,
That
exactly.
because we don't live in a perfect world. So I'm not saying it's okay for people to be corrupt, no, but like it's gonna happen.
It kind
It's
of just be like that, is what you're
yeah,
saying.
because like we live in a broken world. It's not like nothing is perfect. People do bad things. So
Jam says straw getting stuck in a turtle's nose is not a valid argument for banning plastic straws. Change my mind.
okay, I got a good thing about that. So my sister has a disability called Rett syndrome.
Turtle was wearing AirPods, so he didn't hear the
Oh my
straw.
gosh. That's so bad. So my sister has a disability called Rett syndrome, and it prevents her from being able to talk and feed herself and change her clothes and things like that. And so we have to feed her meals. Like we'll fix her some chicken nuggets, or we'll fix her pasta or something. We'll feed it to her. And so we have to use a fork and feed it to her. But for drinks, it's kind of hard for her to for us to tilt a cup up and her to actually drink it. And so we actually need plastic straws. And we can't use metal reusable ones because she bites down on the straws sometimes and that would hurt her teeth. So people that are trying to ban plastic straws completely are thinking about that necessarily, because like if that happens, then we would actually have to get like a permit and special order plastic straws,
Wow.
which is just insane to think about.
I
So
mean, it's a straw.
like I feel like we could do so much more than just banning plastic straws. Like we could take so many more different measures to help be more
To limit the amount
sustainable
of
and
plastic,
like recycle more. Yeah. Like maybe we
limiting
screen trash.
or ban grocery bags.
Yeah,
Like,
or we could
whenever
do
I
we
go
could
to the
do so
grocery
much more
store-
things that would be much less harmful than some viral story about a turtle getting a straw stuck in his nose.
Yeah.
Like,
You know, that's what irritates me too, is like those people that use those metal straws. I've got a friend, she spent so much money on those stupid metal straws. And you know what she does whenever she goes to the grocery store? She bags milk. It has a freaking handle for a reason, Jacknut. Like, don't cry about a sea turtle and then get 10 plastic bags that aren't recyclable unless you take them back to the place that sells them. That irritates me so much. Do you know how many times I walk out with my arms full of like this if I don't take my bags with me, my cloth bags. Like, it's feasible. Just don't be lazy. It irritates me because I think the turtles think it's jellyfish, and like every time I pick up a plastic bag, I'm like, that's killing a turtle.
Like we could do a whole lot more. We just
Yeah.
have to, and it comes back. A lot of it comes back down to politics. Honestly, is like to how do we implement these things? How do we implement
Or
these
even
changes?
biodegradable straws, like biodegradable plastic, like straws. That's what we need to do. Is we need to develop more reusable instruments that people can still use to replace their
We need to
what they
create
need in their
alternatives
daily
to
life.
these bad things.
Like cereal straws. That's the best invention. Why? You drink your milk, and then you when you're done, you. The best thing ever.
Oh my gosh, that was such a long time ago. I haven't had one of those in forever. How long have we been
They're
going for,
really
Elbow?
good. Let's see, 42 minutes.
Okay. Wow, really? I thought we'd
Yeah.
been going for longer than that.
Dude, this has been a lot of fun.
I'm really enjoying this actually.
Yeah.
I
We should try to do
actually
this,
I have a
like-
tally of how many cuss words you've said and like where you said it. So I'm gonna.
I'm trying to not. It's only whenever I get very like irritated. I've been very good. I've been.
It's alright.
good,
You've
Scar.
been pretty good. You've only done it
How
what?
many tallies do I have?
7. Only 7.
That's pretty good.
Hey, that's not
That's
bad.
pretty good.
Just take it, Elbow.
8. What do we have?
Have you
left?
seen those videos that's like over like bleeping out things that don't need to be bleeped out?
Yes, those
Like
are amazing.
they'll just take like a random clip out of Star Wars and just bleep out words.
Yeah.
Those are
That's
pretty
awesome.
funny.
Sammy, I wish I could talk about Tupac not being dead, but it's a dead meme. It's a dead meme, man.
We're not
I'm
gonna talk
sorry.
about memes. We're gonna talk about serious stuff.
Yeah, serious stuff. If you have like actually something you want us to talk about, like the grocery bags, the plastic straws, that was a good topic.
That was pretty good. I enjoy
Um,
that.
Let's
We-
see if there was anything else.
The last one you want to talk about was marriage equality, right?
Yeah.
You can start with that.
Okay. All right. So as far as marriage equality goes and everything like that, um, I feel like everybody has the right to, because essentially all that marriage is it's just a legal binding of two people. That's all it is if you strip it down to the bare basics. And if you want to legally be bound to someone, just in general, you should be allowed to do that, you know? And so what if that person's a man? Love is love. If I look at someone and I'm like, you're an amazing person, you make me laugh, you make me happy, and I want to be more than friends with you and just share that emotional bond with someone else, there's no reason to say that you're just because you got it and I got it, we can't, you know? That's kind of how I see it. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, everybody should be entitled to having a wedding and their own happy ending. And if seeing another dude munch on another dude's face, it makes me a little uncomfortable. But like, I have no problem with someone. Did you tally? Take it out. No. Scar.
It's my video, Elbow. I can do what I want.
But yeah, but I mean, people should be allowed to kind of just express their own feelings, and that's all I feel.
Okay.
What do you feel about it?
Well,
Mr. Scar.
It goes back to my beliefs as a Christian. Like in the Bible, it says like God created Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. That's the way
Yeah.
I look at it. God created marriage to be. I understand it being like a legal binding in today's terms, it seems, but in the past and the way I feel it is it's love between a man and a woman, and then the whole thing about it. You get married and then you leave your parents to go and be with your wife. And
Famous.
I know a lot of people, like even Christians, like struggle with homosexuality. Like I don't think that's, and there's ways to combat that necessarily, but I don't believe that it's I don't believe that
Wait, do you
homosexual
believe
like
in conversion camps and stuff, or
hmm
like, so say I like boys,
hmm
and I my parents are Christian and they don't want me to like boys, and do you believe that I can go to a camp and be like fixed or whatever, or
I'm saying like it's not really something you can determine when you're young, but like when you're older, you would just become I think the term is a celibate, right? Someone that just doesn't like you're not gonna marry because like I don't think
Mhm.
that's right. Um, but I don't I don't think it's right necessarily, but it doesn't mean that I hate you. Like
Yeah,
I
I
have a
mean,
bunch of friends that were gay, and I just like I don't hate you. I just don't agree with your decision necessarily, which is I feel like what a lot of people do. Like I don't agree with a lot of people's decisions about doing all this other stuff. Like I
hmm
don't agree with this person's decision about not using cloth bags at a grocery store, but I'm not going to hate the person. So
yeah,
like the whole thing about marriage equality is do what you want, but I don't necessarily agree with it. So I guess I think it's fine. There's I feel like it's not one of those great huge battles that I need to fight. Like it's there's different things I could use my time doing, and like advocating what I believe about. Because like two guys or two girls getting married, you know,
two girls
do what
getting
you
married,
want,
that's
but
just hot. I don't care who you are.
hmm,
That's just two girls getting married. That's just hot. Hit me up, ladies. I'm
gosh,
taken. Don't actually. My girlfriend's not gonna watch this, but just I'm taken.
I'll send this video. I'll send this video to her.
No,
I'll send this clip. Someone clip it and send it to her.
no, please.
But like, I don't necessarily agree with it, but I can't do anything about it. So do what you want, and I'll love you the same.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna I don't hate anyone.
It was just your use of the word combat that. That's why I kind of wanted to clarify the because conversion camps those are like
Is that
dude,
what do you mean? What is that?
have you not heard of those?
Like an anti-gay camp?
Yeah,
It's
so
like where it's
say
like
I like
if you think you are gay, you go to that and they like fix you.
see gay people don't ever go to them. It's usually their relatives that legally check them in and don't like your parents will take you there because they're scared that you're gonna they just it's like it's a lack of free choice, and that's why I don't really like those.
I
Thank
didn't
you
know
for
that was a
timing
thing.
out. Yeah,
But
it's a
the
thing.
when I say like combat, like that I mean like there's certain things that I don't believe in. Like I don't believe that marriage should be anything other than between a man and a woman, but there's like that's gonna happen,
Yeah.
and so why
Oh, so
fight
you're
it?
kind of in the middle on this, like to an extent. To an extent.
Yeah, like I don't in my opinion, and according to Christian beliefs, marriage is between a man and a woman.
Mm-hmm.
But like I'm not gonna deny someone else's freedom.
Yeah.
Just because I don't believe it doesn't mean people aren't gonna do it.
Yeah.
And just because I
Exactly.
believe something doesn't make it right or wrong.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to clarify because I could see that going awry if we didn't clarify.
Yeah, yeah. So like,
I wasn't trying to call you out.
you
That's all
know,
I'm saying.
like one thing that I could be much more a much greater advocate for is abortion. Like I don't believe in abortion. I don't think you
Oh.
should do it.
Oh.
I'll open the can of worms.
Oh, don't you dare open the
I'll
worms.
open the worms
Put
and
the worms back in the can.
so like I could be a much greater advocate for that and have a much greater voice for that as opposed to just like advocating I don't think gay people should get married. Like
So, you might not have heard about this yet. But in New York State, abortion was actually just legalized for 39 weeks if it's inflicting on the life of the mother. So literally, you can have an 8-pound baby, and if it's about to kill your wife or your girlfriend or yourself, if you're the woman who's pregnant, you have the right to, you know, end the baby's life in order to not die yourself. Like,
Mm.
like that's
That's a hard topic,
I
because
think it's good because it's saving the person's life who's lived all these years and they've established, you know, a home base. Because yes, while it is alive, but the baby's not at the point. You're not gonna, no mom, I don't care who you are, if you were gonna put the child up for adoption or what have you, is going to um is going to kill an 8-pound baby because they just decide they don't want it anymore. They're going to get rid of that baby because it's literally about to kill them. It's about to take their life and give it into them. Like, that's kind of the point where it gets to, like, okay, maybe it should be okay. Like, it's kind of messed up, like 39
it's
weeks, but nobody's going to do it to that point,
it's I don't
you
think
know?
it should, because that's, in my opinion, that's murder. Because
To
the
an extent
baby
it
is,
is.
the baby is a baby. I believe that a baby is a baby for conception, like at conception.
But are you going to value the life of a loved one over the life of someone you've yet to meet? Like,
It
that's to
it
the point.
it's
It's
it would
almost
be,
like playing God.
sorry. It would be like, because here's the, well, who is this? My wife, I guess, and here's the baby.
Yeah.
Like, I myself would possibly have resentment towards the baby if the baby was born and my wife passed away.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, we're denying one person's life to live before they even have the choice to make it on their own. Like, the at that
You're also
point, it would be
denying
the
the
wife's
wife's
choice.
chance.
Like,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
not I don't even want to say it's their choice. Like, they don't I I feel like it would be that risk that you would just have to take, because, like, and you
So
just have to
you
be
would
prepared for it. Like, hey, I want my child, like, if you're oh
see,
if
can
you're
of worms.
if you're pregnant, like, in normal pregnancy, I'll say it like this, like marriage, like, you have kids, whatever, and you would want your child to survive.
Yeah,
Like,
of
I'm
course.
sure in a lot of cases, I would think many moms would rather their child survive than them.
But that brings up the question of, like,
The
why do we even have any say? Like, it should be entirely up to the mother. Because
Well, then what about dad's rights? Like, I don't want my child to die.
yeah, but you don't want your wife to die, which is why it's left up to the mom. Because, like, you spent 40, say 19 years. Say you get pregnant and someone is 9 months pregnant tomorrow, and you find out that unless if this baby dies, your wife is gonna die, and that's it's just like, wow. It's just hard to talk about, you know, because
Hmm.
it just, even to think that you would be caught up in that situation between your son, the apple of your eye that you've been waiting for 9 months to meet, and your wife, who you've known for your whole, however long you've been together. It's That's why dads, yes, while you might have resentment for your wife or resentment for the baby, for either choice, that's why it should just be left up to her, because it's her body and it's her thoughts. Like, you know, it's like, that's to the point where it has to be kind of just up to the mom, you know? Because, like, yes, it's your son or daughter, but it's their life, you know?
If it's up to one, like, if it's this life or that life, then how do you even make a decision? I feel like at that point, if it's like, if one person's gonna die if this happens, and the other person's gonna die if this happens, then how
And
do you,
also,
like, you can't, I don't know if you can choose.
and what do you do if the dad's not there? What if it's a victim of rape? Like,
Well, at that
that's
point, then
something you
probably the
have to
dad
bring.
wouldn't care, so he
Yeah.
wouldn't have a say. So it would just be, you would just, if I was in that position, I would just have to, I would just see what happens, like with the pregnancy, and take the risk of possibly dying if it saves my child. And I feel like that's what most, I feel like that's what mothers should do, because like the point of being, okay, I'm not trying to sound sexist. It's gonna sound sexist, but the point of being a mother is to like nurture children and to have kids. Because like
Yeah.
that's what, like,
But
guys can't do that. We're there to be the protectors of the family, and the women are there to have the kids to produce offspring and to further on the legacy.
and at the same time, so I just want to put out a whole big A disclaimer. I stopped myself.
I heard that.
Yeah. So this is why we're doing this podcast, because I think if the woman was forced to carry a baby or was raped, essentially, she should have the entire choice to not have the child. And that's where our views are different, and this is why we're having this podcast. This is the purpose, to get these thoughts out and to show that yes, it's bad, and you've got to talk about this stuff. But dang it, Scar, I'm sorry.
Another tally mark.
I don't know. That's just the purpose of this podcast, through and through, is just to try to get out our feelings and to spark people to talk about these things, because they need to be talked about, not just by government officials.
Mhm.
They need to be talked about by 19 and 18-year-old kids.
Because we're the ones that are going to be moving on to the future. We're going to be politicians. We're going to be scientists. We're going to be social workers. We're going to be construction workers. We're the ones that are going to be going out there. So that's why I really like the philosophy class that I took in college. Because I never really talked about the meaning of life in a super in-depth conversation with other people my age.
Jam was angry you didn't mention that we're going to be YouTubers.
The what?
That we're going to be YouTubers in society too.
Oh yeah. We're gonna be famous YouTubers in society.
Sorry, continue.
Influencers, yeah. But like that's why I've been wanting to do this podcast for how long? A month? 2 months now?
We've been talking about this for 2 months.
It's been a long time, but we just haven't had the time to do it until now.
Yeah.
And like, cause I feel like it's good to talk about all these things you're not supposed to talk about, because you're gonna step on people's toes and people are going to get offended. But what's the what
You know,
what's,
the other
how is it
thing
going to help
is-
society and help yourself if you're going to get offended by what other people believe? It's
Yeah.
not. So people need to talk about it, need to get over that being offended by everything. Because like Elbow and I really don't agree, especially like religion, politics, abortion. Like I
Yeah.
believe that the baby should always be, since the baby doesn't have a choice to make, since the baby can't make a choice, then the baby should always strive to be saved,
Yeah.
regardless of anything else. Because
And
the baby
I
doesn't
think-
have that choice to say yes or no. The mother does,
Yeah.
but it's not, like, it's it's inside the mother's body, but the baby is its own person. So like we
Mhm.
really don't agree on that necessarily. But that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Like
And the other good
we're
thing
still
is
people.
like,
We're not going to hate each other because we have different beliefs. It's a very sticky situation. A lot of these big topics that we've talked about are super hard to talk about because there's not an answer. We don't know how the universe was created. We don't know how to save our planet efficiently and effectively with keeping everyone happy. There's going to have to be compromises, and that's what talking about this stuff is good for.
Exactly.
So hopefully we've sparked some thoughts in you guys, and saying maybe like, I don't know, I never really thought about the death
X's
penalty,
death.
or I've never
Or-
really thought about marriage equality like that. So it's also good to be educated on the other person's point of view. So like everything Elbow said, that's been controversial to mine isn't something that I haven't heard. Like I know I'm educated on both ends of the spectrum. I've made my decision, which I'm sure Elbow has
done as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other good thing is like Scar and I have been friends for long enough, and neither of us are extremists really, which is why we're able to really kind of bring these topics up. Is like, yes, we're on each side of the fence and we're on different sides, but like we know enough, not a lot, but we know enough in order to kind of talk about these subjects and get to the point where we can just get everything out there, you know?
It's like in the VeggieTale episode when there's the two different hills and one's throwing pots and pans over and the other one's throwing boots, and then the Samaritan comes along and they're like, "Hey, why not instead of throwing insults at each other, we throw compliments?" So then they start throwing candy and flowers to each other.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So like we're standing on opposite sides of the fence. We're not gonna throw shade at each other. We're gonna put on our hater blockers and throw and be helpful.
Throw
and try and talk through these
milky dabs.
and try and talk through these hard topics and figure out a solution. Even though there's some things that just aren't going to have a solution. Because there are some things that just it's not going to happen. It's not realistic.
Exactly.
But
Scar, do you mind if is there anything else that you would like to talk about as far as the podcast and everything goes?
I don't think so. I was about done.
Yeah, I think do you mind if I take us out?
Sure, take us out.
Okay, so guys, thank you so much for watching this podcast. Please let us know either in the chat on my Twitch stream, or I'm going to be uploading this on YouTube as well. Just let us know if there's anything else that you'd like us to talk about, or anything that you find interesting, or even just something that's non-controversial. We don't mind talking about that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, no, but like my past podcasts have been just like we talked about video games, we talked about past TV shows. I was like, a lot of people don't talk about the big topics. Why don't Elbow? Hey, I know we see, and I had this idea, and I was like, hey, Elbow, we have really different points of view. Why don't we talk about this stuff to get both points of view in the same pot?
Yeah.
So,
but regardless, check out Scar's channel if you're watching this on my channel. Links will be in the description. I'm guessing the same I can say for Scar, right?
Yep. He's gonna send me the links he wants to plug, and I'll stick them in my description.
Plug them.
Plug and chug.
Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye.